I want to kick the show off by talking about Phillip Rivers. So Phillip Rivers has officially retired from the NFL. He played 17 years in the National Football League, 16 years with the Chargers, another season with the Indianapolis Colts. This past year, he obviously led the Colts to the playoffs. They came up short in the first round. They lost to the Buffalo Bills, but no shame in that. Indianapolis, they were a good team, but not a great team, but 16 years with the Chargers, 1 year with the Colts, and Phillip Rivers obviously is a part of the historic 2004 NFL draft where we saw Ben Roethlisberger drafted, we saw Eli Manning drafted, and obviously we saw Phillip Rivers drafted. Ben Roethlisberger, to me, is the best out of the three quarterbacks. At his peak, he was the best. When Ben Roethlisberger was in his prime, he was a top 5 quarterback in the sport. He had a big-time arm. He was pretty mobile in his prime as well. He could make all the throws. He was a great deep ball thrower. He did have a lot of support around him throughout his career. But Ben Roethlisberger, he went to 3 Super Bowls, and he won 2 of them. You got to respect that. Ben Roethlisberger, early in his career, was super clutch in big games. He's the best out of the 3, in my opinion. Eli Manning was never quite a top 5 quarterback, but he was always consistently a fringe top 10 quarterback. And mostly in his prime, he was probably a top 10 quarterback for the most part. He was always in that 8 to 12 range, of quarterbacks. He maybe was a top 5 quarterback in 1 season in his career, but bottom line, Eli Manning was a very good tier 2 quarterback in his career. He won 2 Super Bowls. That's really what he's known for, because in the regular season, he was inconsistent at times. He didn't always make the playoffs, but when Eli Manning got into the playoffs, he got busy, okay? He beat a lot of good teams, a lot of good quarterbacks in the playoffs. To me, outside of Tom Brady and Joe Montana, as I speak today, Eli Manning is the best quarterback as far as what he's done in the playoffs. So I'd say Tom Brady, Joe Montana, Eli Manning, 3 best playoff quarterbacks ever. He beat Tom Brady in 2 Super Bowls. He did knock off an undefeated Patriots team led by Tom Brady in his first Super Bowl win. Obviously beat Tom Brady a second time. So Eli Manning, to me, he's second out of the group. And then you got Phillip Rivers, And look, Phillip Rivers was never great in big games, never could quite get over the hump, has never even been to a Super Bowl. But just because Phillip Rivers hasn't won a Super Bowl, that doesn't mean that he's not a good player. He had a heck of a career. And to a certain degree, I'm willing to give Phillip Rivers the benefit of the doubt just simply because he was drafted to the Chargers organization. Meanwhile, Eli Manning and Ben Roethlisberger got drafted by the Giants and the Steelers, 2 much more stable, well-run organizations historically. But Phillip Rivers has Eli Manning and Ben Roethlisberger beat in career touchdown passes, in career completion percentage, in career pass rating, and in career passing yards. Now, does that make Phillip Rivers a better quarterback than Eli Manning or Ben Roethlisberger? No, it doesn't. Absolutely not. But Phillip Rivers is not a scrub, people. This guy had a very solid career, and just because he could not consistently win big games, that doesn't mean we should crucify the guy, because Phillip Rivers, throughout his career, he was consistently a top 10 quarterback in his prime. He was super duper consistent. He was also super durable. At one point, he started 252 straight games, which is the second longest streak in NFL history behind Brett Favre. Brett Favre was just an animal as far as, his durability. But Phillip Rivers, he was super durable. He was a great leader. He's a class act, He never was the fastest guy, never was, a quarterback that had a big-time arm, never had the strongest arm, but he had a very weird sidearm release. He beat you with his brain, with anticipation, with accuracy, and like I said, I don't know how he continued to deliver the ball accurately on a consistent basis with that weird sidearm motion, but it works for Phillip Rivers. Good for him, So, look, the one thing I also can say about Phillip Rivers is he just kind of put his head down and played, Look, I have no problem with a guy like Deshaun Watson quietly wanting out of a place like Houston, just because Houston has done a poor job of supporting Deshaun Watson. Deshaun Watson has quietly kind of requested a trade, but the one thing about Phillip Rivers is he never would do that to the Chargers organization. He just wasn't that guy. He wanted to be a part of the Chargers organization. He wanted to continue to win games with the same organization. He showed great loyalty to the franchise that drafted him. And I gotta respect a guy that wants to stay with the franchise for his entire career, that wants to win games with the same team, that wants to stay loyal to a fan base. I gotta respect that. Phillip Rivers never, put the blame on the organization. He just kind of said, I need to be better. And look, that might have been a dumb decision by Phillip Rivers because, hey, who knows? Maybe if he goes to a team like the Steelers or the Giants, he maybe gets to a Super Bowl or two or has a couple more, playoff victories. But in the end, we'll never know. But I gotta respect Phillip Rivers for that. The guy, for his career, did pile up very good numbers throughout his career. He's 5th all-time in passing yards with 63,400 passing yards at the time of this segment. Right now, at the time of this segment, he's also 5th in passing touchdowns with 421 career passing touchdowns. He's 5th all-time in completion percentage. Not 5th all-time in completion percentage. He's 5th all-time in completions. Pardon me, with 5,277 completions. And the one thing we can say about Phillip Rivers is he had a great passion for the game of football. His teammates have rave reviews about him. They always speak highly of Phillip Rivers. He never cheated the game, never cheated the fan base. There's this video on the internet of him giving a great speech to the NC State football players that obviously was Phillip Rivers' college in which he went to and attended. He was drafted out of NC State, but yeah, if you go back and listen to that speech, it's hard to come away from that speech thinking Phillip Rivers doesn't just absolutely love the game of football. Phillip Rivers was super duper passionate about his craft, about the game of football. He was super obsessed with being great. He never was consistently great. He was always consistently very good. Never was a top 5 quarterback consistently in his prime. But Phillip Rivers, he's class personified. He was a great leader. He never cheated his fan bases, And ultimately, Phillip Rivers, he deserves a lot of respect for going out there and playing hard, being super durable every single Sunday. He never was consistently hurt, always showed up every single Sunday to play, for the most part. And ultimately, I believe Phillip Rivers is going to get into the Hall of Fame. Whether he deserves to get into the Hall of Fame, that's a debate for another day. But he's got the numbers. He's been super durable. There's been much worse quarterbacks that have made the Hall of Fame, in comparison to Phillip Rivers. So he's going to get into the Hall of Fame. And today, we should all celebrate Phillip Rivers for his durability, his toughness, for his crazy trash talking, for that weird sidearm release, and ultimately, we should celebrate Phillip Rivers for having a very, very solid NFL career up to this point as we speak today. Thank you so much for watching this video today. Please also note that the Juice Alert Sports Podcast is not just a YouTube channel. It is available on all podcasting platforms, including Spotify, Google Podcasts, iTunes, and Apple Podcasts. Also, if you enjoyed this video, be sure to like, comment, subscribe, and share this content with all your friends. This podcast is my favorite thing in the entire world right now. It is my passion. And I want more people to listen to this podcast. I really want this podcast to grow. Also, a fun fact about me is that I want to go into the sports broadcasting and media world once I graduate from the University of Toledo, a college in Northern Ohio. I am looking to become one of the next great sports broadcasters and analysts out in the world. And I potentially would like to start my own network if this podcast really truly grows. Or if I fall short of that goal, I would love to work for a big time network like ESPN or Fox Sports 1. I am open to all networks. So if you believe in my dreams and you see or hear my passion through the screen, be sure to tell all your friends about the Juice Alert Sports Podcast. Stay motivated, you guys. Have a God bless day, and I'm out.